What happens if you give an absolute idiot the tools needed to cram together a game in under 3 days? Well, I think I know the answer. Game development is something that has taken a decent chunk of my free time recently. So, I thought of developing a series of simple, albeit pretty boring games in different genres just to practice and hopefully expand my currently non-existent portfolio. With this recently published project, I want to discuss what went wrong, what went great, my takeaways, and overall experience with cramming out a project in under 3 days as a solo developer. First of all, why set a deadline of under 3 days? Well, it's because I developed this project for a game jam, more specifically, this one. I don't know why I joined it, but it was the one that was close to starting at that time, so I just joined. The theme was legends or myths. At first, I had no clue what to base my project on, but after some time passed, these were the ideas I thought of. I chose the last one because it was the easiest to execute as a solo dev, and apparently, it was the only one that was kind of unique. There were 3 things that I had to keep in mind to make my game at least decent. First of all, make it feel good to play. Second of all, present well, and of course, have a hook. So, what did I do first? I first had to make a decent prototype. So I spent the entirety of the first day just laying out the foundations of the technical side of the game. This includes the player feedback, enemy spawning, score system, and blah blah blah. Everything looked insanely primitive. The gameplay worked by spawning enemies at the right or left sides beyond the player's screen, and having them approach you towards the center. You have to press your arrow keys to attack them. If you miss, you get stunned. If you hit an enemy, you can chain your attack. After finishing building the gameplay aspect, I started to work on the graphics by first implementing a day and night cycle. I initially wanted to use a rotation skybox, but it looked pretty awful. So, I just rotated a bunch of quads with the sun and moon texture and adjusted the gradient of the background sky accordingly to the rotation of the 2 quads. Should it have taken me a day to implement all of these? Well, honestly, probably not. But with that said, the first day is solely dedicated to making the project work. To make the game presentable under a short time frame, I opted for a low poly and pixelated look. Though there are a lot of tools that can make things look good under a short time frame, the point of this project was to practice and hone my own skills. So, I decided against using these tools. To achieve the desired look for my game, I just simply lowered my project's resolution and then upscaled it, resulting in a crisp and pixelated look. The game was also heavily posterized, making the colors of the project really limited, resulting in severe color banding, and I didn't mind it that much. And I made the character models fairly simple. I applied a self-fracture effect inside of Blender to achieve that shattering effect within the game. And lastly, I added outlines to the characters so that they won't blend in with the background. I applied an inverse Hall effect because it was the easiest one to apply and the one that I was most familiar with. And day 2 was finally finished. Now, on to the last hours of the game jam. Now, here's the point in the development cycle where the project kind of went flat. Simply put, the gameplay itself was boring. You just had to press 2 keys when there's an enemy near you, and while the game does gradually get faster and harder, that's still not enough to save the bare bones gameplay. But at this point, I only had about 15 hours left and just wanted to be done. So after making some more adjustments, I made the title card of the game, gave it a solid sounding name, and made the trailer and adjusted more UI elements. And then with just 2 hours remaining, I finally published the game on itch. Afterwards, I then took a 1-day break and returned to, well, nothing. Well, although I am kind of lying, someone did donate to my project, and whoever did that, thank you so much. Genuinely. Anyways, though the game did receive some positive feedback regarding its visuals, the overall consensus was that it was boring, had no real incentives for players to stick around, and you know what? I wholeheartedly agree. But besides that, here's some gameplay footage and the edited trailer for my project. So, after around 2.5 days of constant development, my main takeaway of the whole project is that even though you have decent visuals and graphics, without a decent gameplay loop to hook your players, and without a solid goal that your players can work towards, your project's bound to bomb eventually. Well, unless it really looks that good. I'll be keeping that in mind for both my main and side projects, both of which are currently in heavy development. If you want to help me grow my channel and my indie games, then please like and subscribe, and also please follow my itch page. Unfortunately, because of how awful my day-to-day schedule is, don't expect these types of videos to be uploaded that much. And with that said, thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.